Happy Thursday. It's good to see you. It is the 20th day of May, 2021. I'm Dan Kuntz, and this is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's down the road we go on what's going to be a cool, wet, and a little breezy day today. We got about a 60% chance of measurable rain. Isn't that nice? It is. We need it. It took me a little bit of research, but I got the numbers that I needed, and I wanted to pass these along to you. Since March 1st, we've had 80 days since March 1st. And since March 1st, we've had, of those 80 days, 4 days of measurable rain. That's it. Yeah, that's dry. That's bone dry. But we're going to get a little bit of rain today and a little bit tonight, maybe a few stray sprinkles getting closer to the weekend. Forecast details are coming up, but it's going to be cool. And it's going to be a little on the wet side today. And I say bring it on. News, lots of it. Sports, lots of it. Another no-hitter last night. It's becoming a daily deal. Who gets to throw tonight's no-hitter? This time it was a Yankee. Mariners lost, by the way, to Detroit. They got swept by the Tigers, but at least they got a hit. So there you go. We'll have sports coming up. We'll have the obscure holiday. Today in history, some celebrity birthdays. Mike McNaughty's got an opinion. And we'll check in again with our friends at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. They are celebrating National Maker Week this week. Women of STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. They got 3 really cool videos that they passed along to me that I'm going to pass along to you in the back half of the hour. And on top of all that, don't you think that ought to be enough? Well, it's not enough because it's Thursday and we got Paws for Pets. Boone the dog needs a home. You'll meet Boone here before this baby's all said and done. 46 degrees, clouds and sun doing battle. Clouds are going to get the upper hand for the most part. Let's take a look at what we got outside of our studios here from our camera. High atop and at the very edge of Wenatchee Heights. We call it the cross camera. It's next to the cross. It's not on the cross, but it's next to it. Gorgeous view there. As you can see, the clouds have started to roll in. What's going on is that there is a upper level low. It's moving southeast across southern Oregon and northern California. Low pressure systems spin counterclockwise. So basically the moisture is wrapping around the backside. It's coming up the Idaho Panhandle, visiting southern British Columbia, and then coming right down the Omak, Okanagan area and right down to the Wenatchee Valley. So the weather will actually be coming from the north for the most part today. So if you're looking at the rain and seeing where it's going to come from and when, you want to look to the north because that's where we'll be coming from. And we're getting rain. It's coming. Camera number 2. Megan wants to go visit Jump Off Ridge, and we are visiting Jump Off Ridge. Look at how the sun is just bathing the Stemilk Basin. Isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. Wenatchee way off in the distance. A spectacular view from Jump Off Ridge. I've been up to that tower site. It is quite the drive. Lots of switchbacks and gates and codes and keys, but once you get there, that's your payoff. Not bad at all. Beautiful view from Jump Off Ridge, looking almost directly to the northwest. Camera number 3. Hello, Leavenworth from our Tumwater camera. Gorgeous view there. Leavenworth proper is to the right. Beautiful view there. Gorgeous. I could just look at that all day long. And some of the orchards in the foothills of Leavenworth. Beautiful view looking back towards the Wenatchee Valley. That's as green as you can see Leavenworth. That's beautiful. Camera 4. And we're looking at Nanapoc Ridge, I want to say. Yes. Now, there's a lot of lights, of course, in the studio, and the monitor's farther away than my eyesight allows, but I'm trying to pick out if there's any bodies of water we can see here outside of the high-tension power lines that are cut down there in the middle of the bottom of your screen. I can't see any, but I'm sure they're there. I know Lake Wenatchee and Fish Lake has not gone anywhere, the last I checked. Beautiful view from the Upper Valley, the Plain Lake Wenatchee area. And even Winton. Let's do a little shout out for Winton. I haven't been to downtown Winton in years. Boy, the nightlife in downtown Winton, crazy stuff. From the National Weather Service, cool, wet, breezy. That's what we're going to get today. Depends on where you live. The lower Columbia Basin, so down towards the Tri-Cities, are going to get the least amount of rain because it's going to peter itself out. The farther north you go, the more rain you're going to get, because I mentioned before, it's coming in counterclockwise, so the weather will be coming from the north. The rain will, from basically the northeast is how the rain is going to be coming in to see us. Total precipitation amounts varies, of course, by location. So lower Columbia Basin, not a lot. The valleys, more, and the higher elevations could see upwards of 1/3 of an inch of rain for them. Everybody needs it. We're way behind that. By the way, Wednesday's high was only 60. Our normal high is 73. It was a cool and breezy day yesterday. Now it's just going to be cool, breezy, and wet. So that's a general idea of what we're looking at. Let's get a little more specific from the National Weather Service. That way, if you don't like the weather, you can blame the government. Here you go. 62 degrees under lots of clouds, 60% chance of rain. Better than 50-50. I like that. Again, it all depends on where you live. There could be a stray thunderstorm, which would make more rain, but everybody's going to get at least some sprinkles in our viewing area. 46 for the overnight low tonight. Chance of rain remains at right around 60% overnight tonight until we get into the early morning hours. Could see some sprinkles to get you Friday going. Outside of that, partly cloudy skies will warm up to the lower 70s on Friday. Our normal high this time of year is 73. The weekend's not shaping up too bad at all. 75 with quite a bit of sunshine on Saturday, warmer still on Sunday with a high of 77. But there is still a slight chance of some light sprinkles because the air is still unsettled. That high pressure ridge that's off the Pacific coast that's going to pay us a visit is kind of taking its sweet time coming here. So even though we'll have bountiful sunshine on Saturday and Sunday, still going to be a little unsettled at times, and then it will settle into the valley and over the top of north central Washington by the early part of next week. Get ready for some rain today. Almost forgot what that looks like or feels like. All right, that's your forecast. It's 7 minutes after the hour. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got news for you. An adult portion, but we don't check ID. News is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I am a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
Raising a family may have seemed overwhelming to your parents, but they weren't. Coach, teacher, life guide, caregiver. Family takes care of family. And as the circle of life continues, you now are their caregiver. It may seem overwhelming, but we're here to help you find the support services necessary so you can provide quality care to your elders.
Call Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington at 1-800-572-4459. 47 degrees in downtown Wenatchee. We'll be in the lower 60s today. A better than 50-50 chance of rain. The farther north you go, the more rain you're going to get. So Omak, Okanagan, Chelan, more rain. Wenatchee, not quite as much. Farther south towards Ellensburg and the Tri-Cities, just some light sprinkles, but rain is coming on this Thursday. Here are your headlines at 8 minutes after the hour, and we start with tragic news. It's being investigated as an accidental shooting. 8-year-old Jacob Munoz of Moses Lake. He was killed Tuesday night after being shot in the chest with a pellet gun by his 13-year-old brother. An emotional Grant County Sheriff's Deputy Kyle Foreman explained what happened and called for the community to pull together with compassion and empathy for the family of the two boys.
Around 6:30 p.m., there was an accidental shooting involving a pellet gun along Scott Road in Moses Lake, near the lake. An 8-year-old boy was accidentally shot in the chest by a pellet gun handled by a 13-year-old boy. Despite the efforts of emergency responders, the 8-year-old died at the scene. What we ask is that everyone prays for the family and for the little boy and the little boy's friends and other loved ones. We also ask this: please show compassion and empathy in any of the comments that you make. Sometimes it's easy to be judgmental about situations like this, and that's just isn't the time or place to do it. If you feel the need to do something, come together in unity to support the family and the community that just lost an 8-year-old boy. Again, we're investigating this as a terrible accident.
A Malaga man is charged with 2 counts of animal cruelty for allegedly engaging in sexual contact with dogs. Chelan County prosecutors charged 60-year-old Porfirio Urostegui in late April after an investigation by Wenatchee Valley Animal Control. That investigation allegedly found video of him sexually abusing a dog. A witness in the case also accused him of abusing a goat. Officers seized 9 dogs from Miros Tegui's property back in March. He made his first appearance Tuesday in Chelan County Superior Court. He was released on his own recognizance. He faces arraignment on those 2 felony counts on May 26th. 5 additional COVID-19 deaths were confirmed in Grant County this week, and that brings the county's total deaths for the virus to 125. The Grant County Health District said Tuesday all 5 people who died had underlying health conditions and none had been vaccinated. 4 of the deaths were Moses Lake residents, including a man in his 20s, another man in his 80s, and 2 women in their 60s. The 5th death, a Soap Lake man in his 50s. The timing of the latest deaths unclear. The county does not report deaths until there has been a death certificate review, and sometimes that could take a while. The former local headquarters of the Washington State Department of Transportation is now slated for demolition. They're going to do that starting next month. The city of Wenatchee last week approved a $931,000 contract to knock down the office center and the outbuildings. They were deeded to the city last year. Mayor Frank Kuntz told the council that until they knock down the buildings and a planned intersection is installed, property won't be attractive to potential developers.
We're anxious to get the buildings down. WashDOT is ready to do some of their environmental work behind the shop, but they don't want to do it until the shop's gone. And so they're waiting for us to get the buildings down so they can go do their environmental work. So we really, seems like this is the right time to get it done. We got developers sort of kicking tires out there, but I don't think they see the true vision yet until those buildings are down and you can see the expanse of the property that's there. So again, would have wished we would have gotten more bidders. Ascendant was the one that tore down the building at the college and then came and did the Northwest Wholesale stuff and did great work, and were very responsive, and so they're clearly quality people and do great work. So I think it's staff recommendation and mine that we go ahead and get this thing started.
And remind me what our property is worth out there once these buildings are down?
Oh boy, some of it's $30 a foot, some of it's probably $15 a foot, so somewhere around $5 million, something like that. But we're gonna
more than pay for the extra expense.
Yes, yeah. Again, overall, when we get all the way through this, I anticipate that we'll probably be in the red a little bit on this whole project versus the black. But again, we're continuing to get money passed through for the state to help with the road projects and some of those sorts of things. So we're continuing to plug away at it. We got some money from the PUD to help with some stuff, and so we're getting it. But the people that are looking want to see the buildings down and they want to see the intersection built. And then we're going to get some action. So this is the first step.
A Wenatchee woman involved in a child custody battle with her former husband in Saudi Arabia won a continued restraining order to keep the child here in the United States. Bethany Al-Hadari has spent 16 months in Chelan County Court trying to maintain custody of her 5-year-old daughter amid a divorce. In March, Judge Kristen Ferreira ruled that orders from a Saudi family court could not be honored in the case because Saudi laws don't recognize the basic rights of women and girls. On Monday, Ferreira sent a parenting plan and a restraining order barring the child's father from taking her out of Washington State. The father has said he will appeal. Lake Transit said it will comply with federal orders and will continue to require riders to wear masks on their buses and at their facilities. Link issued the statement on Tuesday saying recent changes in CDC guidelines that eased masking recommendations do not apply to public transportation. Link said the federal requirement was issued on February 2nd and it's due to be in effect until September 13th. And finally, on this Thursday morning, the Chelan County Jail's Canine Kate out and about in the community this week, meeting and talking to the public, promoting an online T-shirt fundraiser. Kate's been working at the Chelan County Regional Justice Center since last November. She's a narcotics detection dog and is already credited with stopping drugs from getting into the jail 38 times. The K9 program is funded primarily through donations and fundraisers. The T-shirts are available for $20 a pop on the customink.com website. And those are your headlines. At 15 minutes after the hour, it was a busy day yesterday in the newsroom, and the bullpen will be hopping again today with us cobbling together a newscast for you at 5, 6, and 10. And with a preview of some of the stories we're working on, here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, Chelan County has hired a new prosecutor. We'll tell you who it is. Wet, breezy, and cool weather on tap for today, but much better weather ahead this weekend. I'll have the complete details in your North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom will have a preview of the upcoming Mariners-Padres series, which begins tomorrow night in San Diego. That and all the day's news stories coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
I make a point to watch the news. I hope you do too. And don't forget, you can watch it on demand. We'll have it up on our various websites, YouTube page, links on our Facebook page, all that stuff, right around 5 o'clock each evening. Or you can watch it on television, or as we'd like to say in the business, TV. You can get a hold of us via our Facebook page. You just use the Messenger app, or we'll get it. You can email us, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com, or go to our website, ncwlife.com, and click on the contact icon. Technology, it's a beautiful thing. Going to take a break. When we come back, the Mariners swept by Detroit. Another no-hitter, this time by my Yankees. We'll also have what little high school results we have, and more with sports this 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snowblowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course, we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the Doghouse?
Hey folks, Carrie here from Blueberry Hills, here to welcome you back to all the delights of both indoor and outdoor dining. As things continue to normalize, you can expect the same great experience that's made Blueberry Hills a true family favorite for the last 20 years. We've added a few new items to the menu, but not to worry, because we're still serving up your old favorites too. So come on out to Blueberry Hills, where people fall in love at the very first bite.
18 minutes after the hour, Detroit. Well, they swept the Mariners. They completed the sweep last night at T-Mobile Park. The final was 6-2. Rookie Logan Gilbert, well, he looked like a rookie, quite frankly. Didn't look very good. Lasted only 2 2/3 innings. He allowed 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 strikeouts, a couple of walks. The lone highlight for the Mariners came in the first inning. After being no-hit the night before by the Tigers, Kyle Seager unleashed a 2-out bomb that made sure the Mariners wouldn't be left hitless 2 nights in a row. Later on in the 5th, his wife Julie treated a congratulations from Kyle's daughter that the Mariners played on the Jumbotron.
A flood of hits, so let's hope that happens for the Mariners tonight.
Fly ball deep to right center field. Giddy up, bye-bye. 2-run homer, Kyle Seager, 2-0 Mariners. 9th home run for Kyle. RBIs 28 and 29. Ignition liftoff, maybe that's the one. Some good 2-strike hitting.
Well, I tell you, Kyle Seager has hit all season so well with runners in scoring position. Runner at second base here, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Gets a fastball down and in right where the lefties like it. 107 miles an hour off the bat. There was no doubt about that one. And that's a huge lift for the Mariners.
That was sweet. That one hit me. I definitely surprised. Those little ones will get you. So that was pretty special for me. I was gonna Skip would sub me out, so maybe I can go put her to bed or something like that. But that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Manager Scott Service said, yeah, it was a rough outing for Gilbert, but he was happy for Kyle Seager, and he passed a milestone last night with his 84th home run at T-Mobile Park.
Certainly not the way I predicted the series was going to go, coming off the last series here at home. But, I'm starting, tonight's game, Logan getting his second chance to get out there. I think what we saw tonight was, this guy's a really good competitor. And, even he didn't have his A game tonight as far as his ability to land his secondary pitches. He struggled with the off speed, the curveball and the sliders, and then, finishing off at bats. Had a lot of long at bats that ran the pitch count up there. I say all that, and, he's learning. That's part of it at this level. He's certainly got the weapons to have a lot of success here, but he's going to have to, grind through it a little bit, and he'll learn along the way. So, offensively, Seager gets us on the board early and can't say enough. Certainly, he takes over the lead of all-time home runs at T-Mobile Park. It's, rightly so. Him, he's hit a lot of them here. He gets one off a lefty, which was very fitting. But after that, we had to put some pressure on him in the 5th and the 8th. A couple guys on, just not a big hit there that we needed, or somebody really drive a ball to get us back in the game. So again, not what we were looking for in this series. Day off tomorrow, and we'll get after it when we get back over to San Diego.
Yeah, the Mariners have the day off today, then they're off to San Diego, a 3-game weekend series with the Padres. They'll get going tomorrow night at 7:10. A day after the Mariners were no-hit by the Tigers, Yankee pitcher Corey Kluber threw baseball's 6th no-hitter of the season, 2-0 over Texas.
Ground ball to Gleyber Torres, and that'll do it. A no-hitter for Corey Kluber on a Wednesday night in Texas. Kluber becomes part of forever. Corey Kluber tonight was absolutely magnificent.
Phenomenal. I mean, if you look at the pitches he missed tonight, you could count them on one hand. Another slider. This is a good way to end it, and I tell you what, he'll appreciate this more than probably some of those Cy Youngs. To come back where he came from and throw a game, and I guarantee the people in Texas didn't realize that greatness would happen with Corey Kluber in a Yankee uniform instead of a Rangers uniform.
I can watch that again. I'm a Yankee. Make no apologies about that. Kluber became the 11th pitcher in Yankee history to throw a no-hitter during the regular season. Elsewhere, let's take a look at the standings. Josh Naylor's RBI base hit in the top of the 6th inning was the difference for Cleveland. The Indians edged the Angels 3-2. Yuri Gurriel was 4 for 5, had 4 runs batted in, led Houston to an 8-1 win over Oakland. Zach Greinke was dominant on the mound. He allowed just 1 run, 4 hits, 8 strikeouts over 8 innings to get the win. So Oakland's lead in the West is now just a half a game over Houston. Seattle 5 games back. We're not sure if the buzz around the Seahawks regarding second-round draft pick Dwayne Eskridge is authentic, or there just isn't much to talk about. They only had 3 picks in the NFL draft, of course. Whatever the case, the positive reviews about the wide receiver continue to pour in, not only from Pete Carroll, but Eskridge's former coach at Western Michigan.
He's a very powerful guy. He's about 191 or 2 pounds, but he's built really strong and built really solid, and you can see the explosiveness. He gets off the line of scrimmage really quickly and certainly has the burst. So that was really fun to see.
Marshawn Lynch, Adrian Peterson, those are my idols right there. I loved everything about what they did and how they held themselves. I played running back all of high school, all of middle school, pretty much since I started playing football. And then once I got to college, I started playing receiver. So I always been a running back in heart. I played a receiver like a running back in a sense when it comes to physicality and how fast I get in and out of stuff. So I always love running backs. Some of my favorite players in the NFL are running backs, so I just try to follow them and keep on doing what I do.
Dynamic, and I think coaches use that word too much, because when you get a player that's really dynamic, that can take any ball he catches. He can catch it 60 yards downfield and catch it behind the line, and every time he gets the ball in his hands, he ends up in the end zone. That's the kind of thing that when you look at the NFL and the offenses and big plays, it changes the game.
The dynamics of his speed, the speed factor, the track background, that's attractive. We want to make sure that our guys are big threats. All our guys run 4.3s, and Tyler and DK both run low 4.3s, and so to have another element in there with that kind of speed concerns that you provide for the opponent. That's part of this thinking, but we're looking for well rounded guys that fit and can complement too.
It just really slowed the game overall for me. Whenever I'm going against a DB, I always think to myself, what could make me uncomfortable if I was going against a receiver of my stature? You know, I always put myself in that example, and then, you know, just thinking of different things that would make me uncomfortable if I was playing corner. You know, that helped me a lot going to the offensive side again in 2020.
All right, Mr. Eskridge is expected to fit right in with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Seahawks preparing for the 2021 season. And a new season of high school girls bowling got underway yesterday. Eastmont defended their home lanes with a sweep of Eisenhower yesterday. Eastmont's pin count advantage was 2,020 to 1,755. Junior Katie Heights, the top bowler of the day for the Wildcats, she rolled a 202 and a 206 in her second and third games. We hope to have the results for Wenatchee and Moses Lake with Eric tonight on the evening news. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Thursday, the 20th day of May. I had 4 obscure holidays to choose from. I could have picked National Quiche Lorraine Day. Ironically enough, I went out with a girl whose name was Lorraine Quiche. Today is National Rescue Dog Day. Today is National Pick Strawberries Day. But no, today is National Be a Millionaire Day. Now, there are 2 ways to celebrate it. You can act like you're a millionaire, or you can start the plans to do whatever it is that you think it'll take to make you a millionaire. Millionaires differ depending on where you live. A millionaire is somebody who's worth 1 million units in whatever country's currency that is. So you could be a millionaire in, say, Bulgaria and not be a millionaire in Great Britain or the United States. So how many millionaires are there in this country? There are 20 million millionaires. In the U.S., the percentage of millionaires by state is pretty fascinating. Some fascinating stuff. This is the percentage of millionaires per capita in the individual states. Dead last, Mississippi. First, New Jersey. New Jersey has the highest number of millionaires per capita because there are a lot of people who live in New Jersey but work across the river in New York City. By the way, Washington ranks 11th in millionaires per capita. So, who were the 5 richest Americans ever? And we're doing this by adjusting for inflation or wealth as a share of the gross domestic product. So basically, how rich were you relative to everybody else at that particular time? Number 5, John Jacob Astor, who was the very first multi-millionaire. He immigrated to this country from Germany during the Revolutionary War. He made his fortune in fur trading, smuggling opium into China, and then eventually he became one of the largest private landowners in New York City. He invested heavily in New York City real estate right before that city exploded in population. The 4th richest American ever, Bill Gates, Microsoft. 3rd richest American ever, Cornelius Vanderbilt, who made his fortune in railroads and shipping. The 2nd richest American of all time, again, this is adjusted for inflation and all that other stuff, Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate, and number 1 by far, the richest American ever, John D. Rockefeller, who made his fortune in oil. By the way, all of those people, the top 5, have 2 things in common. They spent most of their last years basically giving away their money, except John Jacob Astor. He gave it to his kids, but everybody else is giving their money away. And people who have a lot of money live a long time. John Jacob Astor, Cornelius Vanderbilt, Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller. These guys lived a long, long time. So go out and be a millionaire today. Sounds like a plan to me. 29 minutes after the hour. Today in history. Let's show a picture of a bunch of old men. That's the Meter Convention. They got together in Paris on this date of May 20th, 1875. All the leading thinkers of the industrialized world and say we need to have an international system of units so wherever you are, anywhere on the planet, everything measures the same. Makes perfect sense. And of the 195 countries on this planet, every one of them used the metric system except Liberia, Myanmar, and us. Yes, we are locked in with Liberia and Myanmar. These are not the kind of countries you want to be associated with. Liberia has had 2 civil wars in the last 40 years, resulting in the deaths of 250,000 people. That's about 8% of the population. 83% of the people who live in Liberia live below the poverty line, and yet it was named after a liberty. And of course, Myanmar, it's been in the news a lot. They've essentially been fighting a civil war for the last 60 years or so. And its income between the haves and the have-nots is the widest in the world. So yeah, the United States, Liberia, and Myanmar. They were supposed to whip a little metric system on us kids back in 5th grade and 6th grade. They never did. Didn't catch on. And finally, for you Yankee haters, I got this one for you. May 20th, 1959, 62 years ago today, the Tigers beat the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. The final was 13-6, and the Yankees went to last place in the American League for the first time in 19 years. The Yankees woke up in the morning of May 21st in last place in the American League. They would finish third in 1959. So there, you have that. Birthdays. It's your money, Bob, and it's your bank, Sally. James Stewart, born in this state in 1908, lived a long life. Died in 1997 at the age of 89. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, the Philadelphia Story, It's a Wonderful Life, Harvey, Rear Window, great movie there. Shenandoah, Strategic Air Command, Vertigo, the Hitchcock movie, The Man Who Shot at Liberty Valance, Winchester 73, the Great Western, which changed the economics of the movie industry. He took no money to star in the movie Winchester 73. Instead, he cut a deal that he would get 50% of the net profits. He would have been paid about $125,000 in salary if they just paid him to star in Winchester 73, but because he cut that deal with Warner Brothers, he ended up with $600,000. And that's the way people started to do it after that. By the way, Jimmy Stewart became the highest-ranking actor in military history. During the Vietnam War, when he was in the United States Air Force Reserve, he rose to the rank of Brigadier General. That's not bad. Jimmy Stewart, born in the state in 1908. And Sherilyn Sarkeesian, you know her as Cher. She was born in the wagon of a traveling show. Her mother used to dance for the money they throw. Papa would do whatever he could. I'm not going to. Happy 75th birthday to Cher. Somebody should tell her. All right, it's 32 minutes after the hour. We got an opinion from Mike Mignotti. We got 3 really cool videos from the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center celebrating women in STEAM. STEAM, the acronym Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. 3 really cool videos, pretty funny videos too, for the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. Those are coming up, but first, Boone the dog needs a home. It's Pause for Pets with Megan McPherson.
Hey everyone, Megan here with the NCW Life Channel. We're here with Jenny, the volunteer coordinator at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and Boone is joining us this week. Can you tell us about Boone?
Yes, Boone is an awesome dog here. He's actually been here with us before, and then he lived in a home. They continued his training, so he is an incredibly well-trained dog. But he was brought back because he does have territorial issues. And so Boone would actually be, he's a great dog. Like I said, he's very trained. So if somebody wants to take time with him and is vigilant in his training and provides a safe home for him, he's going to be great. He would not be good in a home with a lot of traffic coming and going. And if people do have people coming and going, as long as you have a secure and safe place to put Boone, he would be great. We love Boone. And like I said, he's incredibly smart. He knows all kinds of tricks, and Boone is ready to go today. He's been sitting here getting kind of antsy here. He does go to playgroup with a couple of our shy gals, but he doesn't get along with every dog. So he's one of the special guys that has a few little things. So if you were interested and you had another dog, it would be recommended to definitely bring your other dog here for a meet and greet. But yeah.
And what should someone do if they want to adopt Boone?
Boone is ready to go today, so all they need to do is call the shelter 662-9577 to schedule an appointment to meet Boone.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open by appointment only. Call them at 509-662-9577 to schedule a meet and greet or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local sports broadcasts. They've been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, risks, and accomplishments. At JDSA Law, they salute our local athletes and wish them well on another excellent season of competition.
Hi, I'm Shauna Larson. I'm the designated broker here at Laura Mounter Real Estate. We are a locally owned firm, and we've worked hard to earn our reputation of always doing business the right way. Laura Mounter Real Estate is continually investing in the best technologies and highest quality marketing. For these reasons, our community has voted us the world's best real estate office for the past 5 years. If you have real estate needs, let a Laura Mounter real estate agent show you the difference.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around North Central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I just read a Facebook post from somebody I like and admire, always have. But the poster recounted a totally disagreeable contact with a local politician of a certain party. This poster then posted, and I quote, "This is why I think people of that party are callous and insensitive. It's because their leadership at both local and national levels, they act callous and insensitive too." Now what is it when you categorize all members of a group by behavior of some of the members of the group? What is that called? What do we call that? And why is it okay to condemn prejudice in others but justify it in oneself? This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been providing heating and cooling services in our valley since 1984. Arctic offers a variety of refrigeration and heating services, proudly now selling Bryant Systems. Heating and air conditioning for your home or business. Commercial refrigeration service for your coolers, freezers, and prep tables. And now, full service on gas fireplaces for your home or business. Whatever it takes, Arctic Refrigeration and Heating, the temperature experts. One of the funnest and finest musical events in the Pacific Northwest is happening right here in the Chelan Valley. The Lake Chelan Wine and Jazz Festival is back and better than ever. 4 days, 10 beautiful venues, 13 artists in 23 unique performances. Wine tasting, shopping, and food are also on the menu for this premier event. Get your tickets now for this amazing experience with net proceeds benefiting local charities. We'll see you at this year's Lake Chelan Wine and Jazz Festival.
Deciding which bridge type to build for a particular location depends on many factors.
What type of traffic will cross the bridge? What passes underneath the bridge? What locations are available for foundations for the bridge? How much money is available for building the bridge? What materials are to be used for building the bridge? Let's look at a few designs.
Okay, so here are some of the bridges that we made here at the museum. And the first one is our beam bridge. And that's a nice basic one. And I like triangles, so I took just paper and tape. And I used these triangles as my supports for my bridge. And a piece of paper here. And nice and basic. And, oh, here's my marble. It carries a marble right across the top. So that's my beam bridge.
Beam bridges are really strong because they use these bases and then a horizontal piece for the cars or the people to go over.
Okay, the next bridge, suspension bridge, a little fancier here, just like the Golden Gate Bridge. I used cups and paper, and I rolled pieces of paper here and taped it to the cups. And for the suspension cables, I used pipe cleaners. So not only do I have support underneath it, I have support on top as well.
You could maybe also use some rubber bands or some string.
So just things from home, tape, cup, paper, and some pipe cleaners.
It's a pretty cool bridge.
And then, like I said, I love triangles because they're pretty strong. This is an example of a truss bridge. And right now, nothing could go across it, but I made my little support here. And it as well can hold. And I just use straws and tape. And I cut some of them into pieces. This would make a larger bridge, of course. But I cut these down so it makes a little bit stronger bridge. And it's pretty strong. It's got supports on top and the bottom.
Yeah. So these triangles help distribute the weight that the bridge can carry, which is a really strong design. So we are going to do a little experiment to see how much weight our bridge can hold. So what we did is we got something to prop up our bridge, and then we tied a string and a cup to the top of our bridge using a popsicle stick, and we're just going to put some marbles in our cup to see how many marbles the bridge can hold. We obviously want our bridge to be really strong because if people or cars are going past it, we want to make sure we can hold all the weight.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah, so far it's
I don't even know how many marbles there are in there.
Wow, it looks like we have a really good design.
Yes.
So you can build your own bridges at home using any of the materials and be your own engineer. Also, you could walk around Wenatchee or wherever you are to see what kind of bridges you might have and what they're used for and how they're made. Thanks for joining us for Engineering Day, and we hope to see you tomorrow for our next day.
Join us to learn about 3 pioneering women in the field of engineering, and follow us on Facebook to tune into other fun STEAMFest activities and biographies. Learn more at WenatcheeValleyMuseum.org.
Welcome to the second day of STEAMFest. Today we will be focusing on the impact of a few brilliant women who made a significant advances in engineering. We will be focusing on
Emily Roebling,
Julia Morgan,
and Mary Jackson.
Emily Roebling was instrumental in the completion of the Brooklyn Bridge, which connects Brooklyn and Manhattan, stepping outside of what was expected of women in the mid-19th century and making an impact that can still be seen today. Emily Warren Roebling was born in 1843 in Cold Springs, New York. She married Washington Roebling, whose father was the world's leading architect of suspension bridges, in 1864, and they spent their honeymoon traveling around Europe, visiting bridge construction sites to learn about the latest engineering techniques. Washington Roebling became the chief engineer for the building of the Brooklyn Bridge, but quickly became ill and unable to leave his house. His wife Emily stepped in and began to oversee the day-to-day construction of the bridge. Many began referring to Roebling as the first female field engineer, and recognizing her involvement in the project was essential to its completion. After working on the Brooklyn Bridge, Roebling went on to be an advocate for equality and suffrage. Unfortunately, she died of stomach cancer in 1903 after taking an active part in the suffrage movement, the fight for the 19th Amendment. Today, Emily Roebling is known for her work as an engineer on the Brooklyn Bridge and being one of the pioneering women in STEM fields.
And I am Julia Morgan, the first woman to receive an architect's license in California, and the architect behind the Hearst Castle in San Simeon, California. I was born in San Francisco on January 20th, 1872. I studied civil engineering at the University of California, Berkeley, and then went on to become the first woman to study at the world's most prestigious architectural schools, the École des Beaux-Arts in Paris. I moved back to California and opened an independent practice and established my first office in San Francisco. Unfortunately, my office was destroyed in the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, but I was able to establish a booming business regardless because of the high demand for new construction. My most famous client was William Randolph Hearst. I began working for his mother Phoebe in 1913 and for William in 1915. I continued to work with the Hearst family over the next 25 years, with William Randolph Hearst's castle becoming my most famous work. By the time I retired in 1951, I had designed hundreds of buildings and sites. I died on February 2nd, 1957 at the age of 85.
The third engineer we are focusing on today is Mary Jackson, NASA's first black female engineer who served a vital role in the development of the space program. Mary Jackson was born on April 9, 1921 in Hampton, Virginia. She earned degrees in mathematics and physical science from Hampton Institute. She began working at the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, which would later become NASA, in 1951 as a research mathematician or human computer. In 1953, she began working for engineer Kazimierz Shinaki in the supersonic pressure tunnel. He saw Jackson's potential and encouraged her to take engineering classes so she could be promoted to engineer. In 1958, she became NASA's first black female engineer. Soon she was promoted to aeronautical engineer and worked at the Langley Research Center analyzing data from wind tunnel experiments and interpreting the way airflow affected planes. She later left the engineering department to become an administrator in the Equal Opportunity Specialist field. She remained in this position with NASA, working to highlight women and minorities in the field until her retirement in 1985. Mary Jackson died at age 83 on February 11, 2005. Thank you for joining us for this lesson with the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. We are so pleased that you've chosen to join us for this STEAM Fest lesson in Women in Engineering. There are so many ways to learn about engineering and each unique story. Keep creating!
Join us for today's activity to build your own bridge, and follow us on Facebook to tune into other fun STEAMFest activities and bios. Learn more at WenatcheeValleyMuseum.org.
I stuttered.
You stuttered.
Look, I'm flying with it.
Welcome to the second day of STEAM Fest. Today we will be focusing on the impact of a couple brilliant women who made significant advances in technology. We will be focusing on Hedy Lamarr, Dr. Fei-Fei Li, and Margaret Hamilton.
Hi there, Miss Tracy here, my two fabulous helpers, and right now I'd like to talk about Hedy Lamarr. Hedy Lamarr was called the most beautiful woman in film, but her legacy includes more than just her acting career. Lamarr was also an inventor who patented an idea that led to her also being referred to as the mother of Wi-Fi. Hedy Lamarr was born Hedwig Eva Maria Kessler on November 9, 1914 in Vienna, Austria. She was an actress in Germany and Austria before signing with MGM in Hollywood in 1932. Once in Hollywood, she changed her name to Hedy Lamarr and began starring alongside popular actors such as Spencer Tracy, Clark Gable, and Jimmy Stewart. In 1942, she and composer George Antheil patented what they called the secret communication system. The system would use frequency hopping or changing radio frequencies simultaneously to guide a torpedo so it couldn't be intercepted by enemies during World War II. Unfortunately, the military dismissed this idea because they thought she should be raising money for the war effort instead of working on inventions. She signed her patent over to the Navy anyway, and therefore, when her design was used later in the invention of secure military communications, GPS, cell phones, Bluetooth, and even Wi-Fi, she received neither money nor credit. It wasn't until over 50 years later that people started to recognize Hedy Lamarr's contributions to science and technology. She was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame in 2000.
Margaret Hamilton is a computer scientist best known for her work with NASA on the Apollo missions. She also coined the term software engineer to describe her work. Margaret Hamilton was born on August 17, 1936, in Paoli, Indiana. She studied mathematics and philosophy at Earlham College in Richmond, Indiana, and went to work at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, in Boston shortly after graduation. She began programming computer software to predict the weather and later wrote software to identify enemy aircraft. Eventually, she made her way to NASA, where she led a team that was tasked with developing the software for the guidance and control systems of the in-flight command and lunar modules of the Apollo missions. At the time, software engineering was not taught in schools, so they were having to work out any problems that came up along the way on their own. There was no reference manual to refer to. It was during her work with NASA that she coined the term software engineer to describe the work her and her team were doing. Hamilton received NASA's Exceptional Space Act Award in 2003 and the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016.
Dr. Fei-Fei Li is the inaugural Sequoia Professor at the Computer Science Department at Stanford University and is the co-director of the Stanford's Human-Centered AI Institute. Dr. Fei-Fei Li was born in 1976 in Beijing, China. She immigrated to the United States when she was 16 years old. She received her BA in physics from Princeton University in 1999 and went on to receive her master's and PhD in electrical engineering from California Institute of Technology in 2001 and 2005. She currently works in artificial intelligence and is the national leading voice for advocating for diversity in STEM and AI. Artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think like humans and mimic their actions. For example, playing chess. She is also a co-founder of the AI for All, a national nonprofit aimed at increasing inclusion and diversity in AI education.
AI is a powerful tool we're only just beginning to understand, and that's a profound responsibility. Dr. Fei-Fei Li. Thank you for joining us for this lesson with the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. We are so pleased that you've chosen to join us for this STEAM Fest lesson on women in technology. There are so many people to learn about, and each of us has a unique story, just like you. So keep creating.
Join us for today's activity to build your own Wi-Fi booster, and follow us on Facebook to tune into other fun STEAMFest activities and bios. Learn more at WenatcheeValleyMuseum.org.
To achieve greatness once, it's not the end of the journey. It is only the beginning. Introducing the next all-electric super truck. The revolutionary GMC Hummer EV SUV. Reserve one now while they last.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. Now you can fish like a pro without breaking the bank thanks to the ProMag aluminum fishing boat by Smokercraft. It features a great layout with a spacious bow casting platform, huge live wells, and in-floor storage to safely stow your gear. See the Smokercraft line of boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
Crystal's Restaurant and Lounge in Leavenworth has a warm environment to enhance your dining experience. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Crystal's Intimate Lounge is a wonderful place to relax and dine with beautiful views of the mountains. Do you have a special occasion coming up? Call Crystal's to reserve their event space. Whether your event is grand, intimate, or casual, Crystal's provides unforgettable food and superb service. Crystal's Restaurant and Lounge, proud to be serving fabulous food and drinks. Okay, in the minute we have left, let's do the forecast. First of all, a little slide to you from the National Weather Service. A friendly reminder, today is going to be cool, wet, and breezy. The low pressure system is actually over southern Oregon, but it spins counterclockwise. It's picking up moisture. It's going through the Idaho Panhandle up to British Columbia and then back down through the back door, so to speak. So if you're looking at where the rain is coming from, it's coming from the north. And the farther north you live in our viewing area, the more rain you are going to get with the less amount of rain down in the lower Columbia Basin. So from the National Weather Service, here we go. We got about a 60% chance of measurable rain today. I haven't had that in a long time. I have about 62 degrees, 46 for the overnight low tonight. The rain should be into the evening hours as well. Even some light sprinkles on Friday morning. Not out of the question, but we'll warm back up to near normal, 72 degrees, and just about normal high temperatures for this time of the year with sunshine Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's it for us. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.